What's up, everybody? We are back on the 1996 Wellcraft 33 Coastal, and today, well, actually over the next several days, we are putting in the engines officially. The twin 3116 Caterpillar diesels are officially going into the boat, and wow, it has been a long time since I've done something this sketchy. All right, here we go. What's up, crew? Welcome back to Boat Restoration by Ben. On today's video, we are back in the, I guess I'll call this the OG shop, my personal shop. And we're getting ready to put the Caterpillar 3116 diesels into the 1996 33 Coastal for the first time. So we've got everything inside, officially prepped to receive the motors. Fuel tanks are in how we like them, with the straps. Let me show you guys that real quick. Whoa, boom. We're gonna add, as discussed, we got vertical rubber all the way along the tanks underneath, so that's been tucked away nicely. We've done a couple of different configurations, but we have the vertical striping of the like 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick rubber, and then we've got straps that are looped all the way underneath the bed, holding the tank down. So these things are snug. The only thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add rubber around the outside of the strap as extra isolation. Not that it's necessary using straps like this, but the owner does want rubber all the way around them. So here we are, looking good on the tanks, and I think we're ready for motors. Goal for this 1996 Wellcraft 33 Coastal is to get it ready to go into the water within the month. So this will be project priority number one, along everything else that we have going on currently, the Formula, the Chris Craft, the Future Scarab, and then another Chris Craft, the wooden boat, which should be coming along here shortly and entering into the Boat Restoration by Ben channel. But this is priority number one. I'd really like to get this boat to where it can go to the water, run, drive, and bring it back to life. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't gone back, you want to see the whole lineage and progression of this existing boat here, the 1996 Wellcraft 33 Coastal. There's a bunch of other videos. There's a playlist, so you can go click on that playlist, follow along, get up to speed on everything that we've done to this boat so far to get it here. Now, we can finally put in a couple diesel engines, because I need that gantry over in the new shop, and I can't move it until we put diesel engines in this boat, as well as put those big honking engine covers back in here. So, all right, a little bit of update on the channel. A lot of craziness going on, a lot of good progress and updates, new, bigger shop, moving things out of here. This will be my personal space and garage, as it was always supposed to be. But anyway, a big portion of kind of transitioning to that next stage of the new, bigger shop. Get this thing capped off and moved out of here and back to the water and to its owner. Other big update is I'd like to welcome Harry to the Boat Restoration by Ben YouTube channel. Harry is officially my first employee. He is going to be a fantastic addition to the channel and allow us to make more progress more efficiently and move the needle in regards to all those projects a lot quicker and at a higher, let's say, skill level, with two of us tackling the big jobs rather than one. And as many of you are probably aware, it always is good to have an extra set of hands when working on stuff like this. It's really hard just to do by yourself, especially with all the heavy equipment and whatnot, and from a safety aspect. So I'd officially like to welcome Harry to the Boat Restoration by Ben YouTube channel. He has been no stranger over the past couple years. He's made a couple cameos in some other videos, such as the removal of the old lobster boat that we salvaged. He also went with me recently on the Formula trip. Harry's been in and around the channel. We featured his trip angler on on the channel as well as a little boat feature. So anyway, Harry has been a part of this up until this stage and is going to be a big part of this moving forward as well. So welcome, Harry. I'm really happy to have him helping me out and a part of the Boat Restoration by Ben YouTube channel. Huge step, first employee, bigger shop, 2 shops, more boats. You know, here we go. So let's get into these engines. I went and picked them up from Pennsylvania. They've been sitting at an engine rebuild shop, a diesel shop up in Pennsylvania for 15 years. This boat's been taken apart for 15 years. These have been sitting in that shop. So the engines are rebuilt, remanufactured, whatever you want to call it. They're not gorgeous, right? You see where they just kind of scuffed and painted over everything after they were done. They are a nice set of 3116s. They have been dynoed. They make good power. There was a bad run of these motors, and the shop has confirmed that it is not those motors. These are actually a good set of 3116 Caterpillars. Owner would really like us to change the oil, change the filters, which I agree. There's a couple dents and dings, and who knows how long that oil slash filters, probably 15 years, have been sitting on the motor itself. But if you do look, I mean, the oil is money. I mean, it's clean as all get out. So anyway, as safeguard, once it's in the boat, we will change the oil, we will change the filters. Rebuilt starters on the back, big old honking boys on top of the ZF transmissions. These things are super smooth. They've also been cleaned up. I mean, you can see that gear case is very, very nice. And then our oil plug here, pull this guy out. I do believe we need to add fluid once it's in the boat, but it smells very good. They look good. And we have confirmed for the owner, I know he watches these videos, this transmission has been mated up to the engine properly. So I'm not worried about the way that these things have been mounted to the motors. It's fairly simple. Obviously you guys can see here, big casting housing where the flywheel sits. That's where the starter mounts up. And then the ZF transmission is just this gearbox back here. So there's just an input shaft that comes right out of the crank flywheel input shaft, and then a little gear reduction down to our coupler that'll hook up to our coupler inside the boat where the prop shafts are. Remember, straight shaft boats, the engines sit like right in the middle of the boat right there. Fairly simple engine design. So these are inline 6, 3116. The displacement, flash it up on the screen, I want to say they're like 6 point something liter. I'll flash it up on the screen again. I'm not super familiar with the displacement of these motors, but I do know they make about 350 horsepower in this marine configuration. So, you know, water-cooled turbo housing. And at this stage, there's really not a whole lot to dress up on the motors to get them into the boat. What we need to do is get them up there, see what we're missing, see how they're gonna fit in there. I am missing, let's see, 2 engine mounts. So the transmission mounts in the back, I'm missing 2 mounts like this, or maybe even 3. Yeah, I've got the 2 forward mounts on the engine already, but I'm missing 3 of these bad boys. So I'm gonna figure out from the owner where they are, because I do not believe these just bolt directly to the plates that go through the hull or go through the stringers. We're missing a water pump over here, but you can see gear driven water pump. Impeller housing will go on here. This is our mechanical fuel pump as well. Our fuel filters, which again, I'm sure are fine, but we're gonna replace them anyway. Self-priming valves in a couple spots here. Remote fuel filter on this side. So this is pretty important. this tells me that this is the port engine, this is the starboard engine. So when we put these in the boat, we're gonna wanna do this one first. It's gonna be on the port side, on the inside edge of the Wellcraft, because if this was located over here, where the filter is supposed to go, we wouldn't be able to get to it to change it. And then same thing. So on this motor, see, we got our two fuel filters here. Those are gonna be on the inside where they're reachable. You know, I am questioning as well. Yep, see, okay. This, we know it's the starboard motor because there's no filters or anything to get to on this side. The oil filter has been relocated to over here. So we got a remote filter on the inside. So again, this is just some forethought in the marine world. You got to think about this because you physically can't get to that outer edge of the motors easily to access filters for regular maintenance and changes. Just a few other things I'm noticing. You know, there's fittings that are missing in specific spots. So there's a fitting here that's missing for oil. You know, we're gonna have to make sure caps are good. I'm sure we should probably replace these belts that run, what do they run? The actual water pump on the motors. Yeah, so anyway, there's not a whole lot we can do while they're on the ground. Let's get them up in the air, hang them, set them. Harry's currently over at the new shop using the drill press and drilling out all of those engine mounts that I showed you in a previous video. The owner of this boat had all new engine mounts made because the old ones were rusty, had them all re-welded, and then all the holes drilled out just like the old holes were. However, they're slightly too small, so we're having to drill out all of the holes to actually make the bolts that go through the stringers fit through those mounts. So that's our update. Once the motors go in, hardtop can go back, things start to get resecured in the boat, and then it's a lot of Harry and I going through harnesses, hoses, new fuel hoses, making sure things wake back up when we hook up battery power, see what gauges work with the harness hooked back up, making sure everything's grounded properly inside of the boat, and then really start to secure things together. So, you know, permanently hooking up exhaust, tightening things. Yeah, there's just a lot left on the checklist for the Wellcraft, but we are at a stage where we do need to push this project along. So anyway, I think what I'll do is go ahead with the Chris Craft Stinger out of here. I'm gonna move our gantry over, get this engine back, and figure out what height I need to secure the hoist at so I can get that engine up, and I think sneak it through the transom door here to get it inside, because I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough clearance to go up and over the gunnel wall. Guys, today's sponsor of today's video is Haybike. Haybike has sent me the Mars 3.0 fat tire off-road terrain bike. It's got front suspension, mid suspension, 1000 watt, 1400 watt peak motor power. This thing is a beast. Let's get it out of the box and let's get into what this bike's all about. All right guys, I just received this e-bike from Haybike. I have featured an e-bike on the channel before, but this is the next step up when it comes to e-bike. We've got the Haybike Mars 3.0 series, and this is a folding fat tire e-bike, so specifically made for softer conditions. This is the box that it comes in, really nice handles. They even give you some nice tips. Keep the box just in case you need it to return the bike for some reason. Let's see, we've got the Vivid Orange. I got the pups out here checking the bike out with me. We got the Vivid Orange Mars 3.0, and I'm digging this so far. This one came in a very nice box, very well protected. Look at that, let your joy out. Well, we're gonna find out here in a second what this is all about. But Oh, I can already see the fender wells are really thick for this thing. And I'm definitely gonna have to do some cutting here. But nice foam, good packaging. Pippa, hey, let's get out of there, come on. The quality looks decent. Let me go ahead and get this thing out of the box and assemble it, and then get it out and take it for a spin, show you guys how this thing can be utilized and used. All right, not gonna lie guys, it took me about 3 minutes to get to this point right here. It literally lifts right up out of the box and sits just like this after you cut a few zip ties off. But it appears it comes with all of the tools you need to put it together. Scan the QR code for the how-to instructions and everything we need. So wheel, fender cover, we got our handlebars here, pedals, etc. So, you know, we're gonna go like this real quick and get this thing put together. Well, about 10 minutes later, this thing's put together. And I will say, lots of helpful tips and tricks. Everything's Allen keys and 10, 12 millimeter nuts and bolts. I did not use any of my power tools just to prove that the tools provided in the kit actually work, and they do. They did really well. Another thing here, this was neat. Warm tip, they're calling it. If the driller protector is bent at all, which is this thing right here, you should be cautious that it's messed up your gear train. So let them know if it was bent. Otherwise, keep it about 15 millimeters away from the shifter mechanism. So again, nice little tips and tricks. And I tell you what, this is a good looking bike for sure. I'm gonna go around and just make sure the rest of the hardware that was already assembled is still tight. Pedals are labeled left and right when you put them on. We got fully actuating suspension in the back as well as suspension in the front. You can lock out the front suspension, and then our battery is up here in the midsection with 2 braking points. So we've got our brake neck there and a brake neck here so the bike can fold up and stow. Let's go throw this in the back, take it to the boat, and show you guys how this thing is very helpful in and around the dock in a boating environment as well as in softer off-road areas. Harry has hijacked the hay bike and is on a ride right now. Hang on, it is incredibly fast. Wicked. Where'd he go? He should be coming back. There he is. So elegant. Incredible. Look at that suspension. Oh yeah. How's she ride?
Pretty mad.
It's got hydraulic brakes.
Yeah.
That's wicked. Dang. Whoa, whoa. She's dorky.
Yeah.
Look out. Turbo
Whiskey.
mode. We're gonna have to turn that turbo mode down a little bit. Dang, 0.5 miles on her. Yeah, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, she's a ripper.
And yeah, the motor is all back there.
Oh.
This is the 1,000 watt package, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a lot.
Well, my moped's only 2 horsepower. 1,000 is more than 2.
Yeah, I mean, what's 1,000 watts in horsepower? Somebody convert that real quick for me. Hang on, checking. Look, it's got a little card to scan in and out, like a key. And then blinkers. Check it out.
That's money.
Blinker, other blinker, wait.
Is that adjustable dampening rate?
Oh yeah, you can lock it out. All right, it's adjustable on this side too. You can lock out the suspension if you want. Blinkers and then horn. That's fully street legal. And the brakes. Yeah. I'm digging this thing. And what's really cool about this bike is it's not just your run-of-the-mill e-bike. It is pretty beefed up. 1,400 watts peak motor power, 95 newton meters of torque. The thing goes over 30 miles an hour in sport mode, so look out for that. 0 to 20 in 6 seconds. That is very quick for an e-bike. Weighs about 70 pounds, but it is a fat tire bike, so it is manageable. 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires to it. All of that said, the bike's got about 65 miles of total range. That is very impressive for an e-bike, especially one with the off-road capabilities that this one has. Not to mention, the Mars 3.0 comes with about 110 pounds of carrying capacity on the back of the bike, on top of a 330-pound load and rider capacity. So that's 440 pounds of capacity that can ride on this bike. I've not heard of a bike that can withstand that much weight, so very impressive. Now, I used a little bit of assistance to get it up in my truck. You saw a little hop tire. I used the throttle to pop the bike up into my truck bed and set it back there. But check out, I mean, when it's folded up in the bed, how easy it is to actually lift and pluck right onto the ground, and then literally 2 folding latches and the bike is locked in and ready to go again. I mean, I find it very easy to load this thing into my truck bed, back in the SUV, whatever it might be, even in the trunk of your car. I like that this thing folds down in such a compact manner. It makes it very easy to pick up and handle. All in all, the Mars 3.0 by Hey Bike is a wonderful solution to fat tire biking. Powerful electric assist motor makes it much easier in rough terrains to get around and pedal through. 8-speed gearbox. At the end of the day, the Mars 3.0 by Hey Bike is my choice when it comes to getting in and around the marina, cruising up and down the dock on long boardwalks, and transporting a decent bit of gear while you're at it. It makes those long walks with the dock cart much less daunting. So anyway, go check out links in my description for this video on the Hey Bike Mars 3.0. They also have many other models that you guys can check out on their website. There is a discount code, so look for that discount code down in the description. You can get some money off on your Hey Bike. Go check them out. Now let's get back to today's video. So here's the next stage. With the engine in place, I don't want to lift it until I have Harry's help. But I mentioned it before, all the holes for these plates that the owner had made were too small to fit the 3/8 inch bolts. So we're having to drill them out with, I believe, what, 1/2 inch bits?
1/2 inch bits.
And Harry just burned through that bit. So I got a couple more to use and try. He's got all these done. And thank God for the drill press. That is quite nice. That we would have never gotten it done with just a drill.
Bullard's Torpedo Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut from World War II.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Still works. Just replace the electric motor. That's all it needs when it burns out. But we have all these too. So these are the big beefy L plates that support the engine. All of the holes already drilled need to be drilled out, and then we're gonna have to mark these once the engines are in to see where we want to drill our physical engine mounts that bolt to the engine. So a lot of work to do yet, but we got to pull these out now, change bits, and keep on drilling. So not super exciting work, but quite necessary to get to our end goal. So anyway, over here at the other shop, things have cleaned up nicely. We've organized ourselves. There's plenty of room to put in a future 38-foot boat right chair, and we're starting to fit out our tool collection thanks to Harry. That's looking really good. I think we're gonna add another shelf. Again, this will probably be central command for tools, and then boat storage elsewhere. And meanwhile, I mean, Luke has just been really putting way too much love into this boat. It looks really good, and at the moment for no reason whatsoever. So shout out to Luke. But we'll keep drilling and then go back to the shop with all of our engine mounts and start to piece together the motors with the mounts, see what kind of puzzle we're gonna end up facing here. I've said it before, but there's really no playbook for what we're doing here. We've got a bunch of loose parts, including engines, wiring, all sorts of stuff that needs to go back in its original place. And you know, as much as you look up schematics and how they built these Wellcrafts originally, a lot of it's trial and error. So like on this engine right here, okay, this is our starboard engine, and if you look at the other side, it's missing the water pump impeller housing. So this is where it's all gear driven. The front of these engines are all gear driven, the fuel pump, etc., which is very nice, minus the actual water circulation pump for the engine, which I believe are both new on both of these engines, which is very nice. But anyway, the water impeller, so the impeller that sucks the water up from the raw water into the heat exchangers, it was missing. So I have to venture over to the random trailer in the woods and find said missing parts that are still sitting in that trailer on various shelves and whatnot. So here is the unpainted impeller housing, and many of you will thank me for this. You know, I would say these engines are new, but absolutely not. They've been sitting for 15 years, and I am not going to put 15-year-old water pump impellers back into this engine. I mean, you can see the fins here are even cracked on that. So I've got new water pump impellers that are going to go into both these engines well before they go into the boat, because it's going to be much easier to do it out of the boat. So we'll get this one all cleaned up. We'll get a new impeller in here, a little bit of gasket maker on the seal, get that bolted back up to the starboard engine. And back here, you know, this is what I'm talking about. Some engines have, some parts have, some don't. Here's our other engine. Here's one of our new impellers. It's going to be installed with a new gasket ring. But it has its water pump impeller housing already on the engine. So I just removed all the tape from it. I'll pull this back plate off, put the new impeller in. And again, this is our port engine. So this would have been on the outer edge, which would have been nearly impossible to get to inside the boat. So really glad we're doing this now and not afterthoughting it when it's in the boat itself. So I'm trying to do as much of that as possible before these things actually go in there. I've got some new transmission and motor mounts on the way because I don't want to put in 35-year-old motor mounts, you know, stuff like that. So again, as soon as you're ready to take the next step, I would always say take a step back, review everything, and don't take shortcuts when it comes to this kind of stuff. You want, I mean, reuse as much as you possibly can, but things that you shouldn't be reusing, you know, with gas engines, spark plug wires, distributor cap, rotor, you know, rebuild your fuel injectors, rebuild your carburetor, whatever it might be. Do all of that before it goes back in the boat. It's much easier to do out of the boat than it is in. So just saying, as much as you can think through it, think about the things that you should be doing prior to going into the boat. Now, changing the oil and filters, that's gonna happen in the boat because the oil in these things is decent. These filters have never been used except for when it was ran on the dyno. So we're gonna get them in place and then swap things in the boat. Those are very easy maintenance items to do in the boat. Little other prep work that I'm doing currently while I change those impellers is removing all the tape that they put on everything prior to repainting these engines. Again, not the greatest paint job ever. We'll touch up things as needed, but you can see these engines were originally white and they resprayed them Caterpillar yellow. So, you know, right, wrong, and different. There was our original white turbo that's now yellow. To show you guys how simple these motors are, these old mechanical diesels, we've got a connector for our thermostat housing. We have a couple water intakes. These blocks circulate coolant, so heat exchangers are cooled by raw water. We've got our main hookup and ground for our starter. A couple coolant lines for the transmission oil, as well as our shifter cable hookup. RPM connector. Oil pressure connector. Fuel pump solenoid, so this is the start stop to shut fuel on and off for the motor. Throttle. Fuel line hookups. Water hookup. Any other connectors? No, literally 3 connectors, a couple battery wires, exhaust outlet. Our intake was over by the turbo, and then we literally have a belt that'll go to an alternator, which isn't bolted up yet. So I'm gonna have to figure out where my alternators are for these, and then of course the engine mounts. So all very simple, all things I'm doing while these are out of the boat. So I'm gonna tackle those real quick. Keep removing tape from the other engine. And then Harry got all of the motor mounts drilled out to the true 1/2-inch hole size yesterday. So that's very nice. We're gonna mock those up inside the boat. You've got the other back plates right here. So we can go ahead and do that with the port engine. But I'm gonna swap the water pump impeller. I know there's some fittings missing, some lines missing. We're gonna have to locate all of those once we get this thing snuck into the boat. So yeah, I mean, not massive advancement, but stuff that needs to be done before we take the next steps. You know, and just as a little side note, you always gotta have a parts running vehicle. I mean, when your main vehicle is down, I mean, it's not actually down, I just have the exhaust off the GMC right now. And it is obnoxiously loud. So we're in the 79 Bronco, going to run over to the trailer in the woods to collect some parts. Love this thing. And here we go, back into said parts trailer. It's on a bit of a hill. I'm gonna prop this door open here. There we go. But yeah, you know, parts running vehicle. Gotta have one. Mine just happens to be a 79 Ford Bronco. Love that truck. All right, so I'm looking for the inside of a heat exchanger, which I already see right here. What else is this? This is a lot of, it looks very similar to a gasket that goes around the water pump impeller. I'm gonna bring this bucket back because it looks like it's got a bunch of hardware that I may need. So boom, that's one thing. That's off an old fuel pump slash fuel oil pressure senders. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll bring those back too. Here we go. All right, the caps. Ooh, those anodes are trashed. Needs new anodes. All right, but we need the caps here and hoses, which these kind of look okay. I mean, I'm gonna need them either way if I need to remake hoses, but let's bring these over to the other shop. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one's probably trash, but so I needed this hose. I've got one over at the other shop. Another heat exchanger for, I'm not sure. I've already got the new ones for, that one's imploded. Or maybe that's just the way it is. I'll bring these over, but I've already got other ones for the transmission, so I'm not really sure what those are for. And then of course the strainers at some point, and ooh, these, God, these look rough, but we got to reuse them. These are for the lower crossover pipe coming out of the heat exchanger on the front of the engines. Nice. You know, you guys are giving me a hard time that I should be replacing a lot of this stuff, but I mean, the reality is it's whatever the owner is willing to replace, and a lot of these old brass and metal pipes we just have to reuse, guys. So this is the long pipe that goes along the engine that runs from the heat exchanger to the transmission cooler. And then yeah, these right here. So I'm gonna set you guys down now that I have an idea. Oh, those are all gasketed too, that's nice. But yeah, I'm gonna set you guys down, that way I can lift all this stuff up. Strainers I'll leave last. Those are the big strainer baskets. Those are the strainer heads. I've got the glass over at the other shop. Those are the bases. Don't need those yet, but I think this is a lot of the stuff that we needed. I don't see any alternators, however. Old water pumps, and that is a rug for inside. Yeah, I think we do not have alternators over here. That's okay. We got what we came for the most part. Like I said, I need to throw all of this stuff on the engines. Probably clean some of these pipes up and then paint it because he wants it all yellow or to match. So, all right, I'd say that's a win. Remember, the Bronco is a truck, so it's got a tailgate too. We'll throw those parts back here, and then there's a water pump impeller puller I want to steal out of the shop as well. So let's get this stuff in here. Sit it next to my driver. All right. Here we go. Put you back here. Keep you from falling over. Sweet. All right. You know, this stuff all takes time, but this is the way it goes. This will definitely be the last big boy project like this that we'll be taking on for a while. I just, like I said, I want to keep it simple. And these total rebuilds, unless it's a free boat that somebody gives me, but even that, I'm gonna keep them at speedboats because there's just so many little bits and pieces that go into this kind of stuff. It's if you're not organized, I mean, it can be pretty daunting after a while. Well, now it's time to mess around with the engine mounts. So we've got everything drilled out, and I've started to place in the new plates. Issue is, I'm pretty sure all of these plates only go in one exact location. So I'm gonna have to basically dance these around from each spot and figure out which ones the holes line up perfectly with. The backing plates, those I'm afraid are the same thing as well. So, yeah, this is going to be quite the cluster, but it is necessary to do. The owner did not want to reuse the original plates, so that's why he had these made up. We will paint over them more than likely before we're done. However, yeah, this is just going to take some time, so I'm going to throw it on time lapse. But here you go. We got our tanks officially strapped in with rubber to prevent chafing on each of the straps. So that's a nice little addition. These things are literally strapped around the cradle that holds the tank down, so they're very secure, and all that's secured to the stringers. And then we've got horizontal and vertical strips going along the bottom of the tank and on the outer edge to prevent chafing as well. We need one more set of rubber for these straps, but again, horizontal and vertical strips. That's about a 1/8 or 1/4 inch thick, 2 inches wide, running all along the bottom of the tanks to prevent chafing. So here are the holes for the engine mounts. The big plates will get some adhesive, some Marine 4000 3M before they're officially secured in place, but this is how they'll sit. And then the engine will have a 2-bed or 2-bolt engine mount. This will be the transmission, and then the engine's up forward here. But you can see every plate's at a different angle. This one sits a little bit lower than this one. I don't think these are the correct spots for these plates, so I'm gonna have to pull them out. I mean, you guys can even peek around there and see the bolts. And our thick, you know, 1/4 inch, a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch backing plates. So these things are very secure. They're not just they're through bolted through the stringers. So very strong. So anyway, I'm gonna spend some time going through all that. I need to tighten my coupler nuts on our prop shaft as well. So I'll do that while I'm down here. But yeah, just some tedious, time-consuming work that you got to get right, because it's the only way the engines are going to sit in here properly. And yes, I've been talking to you this whole time with music playing on noise-canceling headphones with earmuffs on. So apologies if my words are minced slightly. Okay, here we go. Time lapse. All right, no joke. That was hard work. I've successfully located 6 of the engine mounts, but let me get you some light here real quick. There we go. But I'm missing 8 bolts. So back to the trailer to go see if I can find the 8 lag bolts. If not, I'm gonna have to order 8 more. I've got all the nuts and washers, I believe. But anyway, that was a pain in the butt. Lots of hammering, impacting, but they look pretty good. Looking pretty fresh. I mean, I like it. So, yeah, back to the trailer we go. And once those are set there, at that point, I'm pretty much waiting on parts to arrive. So both engines have been put back together as much as I possibly can. I need to clean them, I need to paint them, because he doesn't want the old white left over on it. But obviously, engine was white originally. We got all the cooling hoses on this one successfully. We got our water pump impeller swapped. I'll show you the old one off of it. We're dealing with a little bit of a debacle on the other one, which I'll show you here real quick. So on this one, we're like 80% there. I got all these hoses done. I'm waiting for a gasket for this heat exchanger so I can pop that in here. Got these hoses ready and mocked up to go, but that impeller, we've got our remover tool and the housing cracked. So now I got a limp impeller in there, which I'm probably gonna have to pry out, which isn't the best way to do it, or crack the rest of the housing so it breaks in two and then pull it out. So that one's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt. But here is that old impeller. This one is okay. I mean, it's all torqued from sitting in there for 15 years, but none of the fins are cracked. You know, I would have replaced it anyway. So it's a good thing we're doing that. That's trash now. If anyone was curious, it's a Sherwood impeller. These are on all sorts of larger diesel engines. It's not just Caterpillar. The 17,000K kit comes with a new O-ring too for the plate on the back. My miscellaneous bolts, parts, which I've been piecing through, seeing what I have and don't have, and then ordering things based on that. It's been, like I said from the get-go, a bit of a puzzle, but we're slowly getting there. So anyway, there you have it. I'm gonna go look for some bolts, see if I can't find them in the trailer. Yeah. And we're back at the shop, at the trailer. So you've probably asked, why not just have it over at the house? It's better to store it over here, out of sight, out of mind. But, you know, easy enough to pop over here and grab it. Also, this place, I think I said it in the previous video about when we moved in here, the guy used to junk cars out here. So the ground is riddled with old goodies and surprises like these undercarriages from a vehicle. So every time I find something, I grab it and I go take it to the dumpster, because there's tie rods and bolts and all sorts of really terrible things that'll go through tires that I don't want to have to deal with. All right, I need 8 big bolt boys. I'm not gonna grab the impellers. There's a washer, but they're not on the floor. Now the impellers, those are water pumps. What am I saying? I said impeller too many times today. Let's see. I could use some more hose clamps, so I will take those. I don't need these. These are old tank straps. I've got my new tank straps. I don't need those. Does anybody need some Bear headache relief? Those are probably still good. Seriously, guys, this is how we've been doing things. I mean, oh, there we go. There's the money. Boom, boom, boom. Take those. KMOS. This thing was brim full at one point. Now we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna take these rags too. The gift that keeps on giving. Somebody screwed a funnel to the wall. That's helpful. Spackle. Got some oil. Surprised that didn't spill. Oh, what's in here? Nope, those are for construction, not for boats. Very old throwable cushion. What else we got? Stud finder, black spray paint, toilet paper. That's great. What is this? Super 1 strength degalvanizer. That sounds scary. Masks. More paint. I hope I don't tip the trailer over. Some very empty sealant where it's just really dry. Bunch of paint. Those are lag bolts. Rod holder. Ooh, a nice cutting bit. Oh. Wasp and hornet spray. That's always good. We are striking out. Hand sanitizer, aloe. Everything that you don't need. Concrete bit. Oh! I do believe I need these. That is Nice surprise. Okay, we're gonna take those with me. I think those are for my transmission cooler. Some more strap mounts, don't need those yet. A big hammer. Nice, but not necessary. Blowers, a wiper motor, battery trays. Well, I think we've reached the end of the trailer's usefulness, unfortunately. And there's nothing on this wall either. Okay, well, I found two things that will hopefully work for me. That's all fishing gear. And I've also looked through my personal assortment of bolts, and I think I've exhausted that resource as well. So I'm sure I'm gonna be back at some point, hoping that something else is in this trailer, but honestly, there's nothing left. So future Ben, current Ben is telling you there's nothing else in that trailer minus strainers that you could possibly need. But anyway, I'll order some bolts, so I'll measure those. I've got my fittings for my transmission cooler, and I'm gonna go peek in the shop real quick and just check on everything, and I'll go back to the boat and not do anything because I'm gonna be waiting on parts. All right, it's the next morning, and Harry successfully removed our old impeller by chiseling it until it literally cracked in half down the center, and then he was able to pry it out. So that guy can go bye-bye, and he has successfully reinstalled the new impeller. It's a new impeller, just an old housing. So thank you, Harry.
No problem.
So that guy is done until our gasket kit arrives for the heat exchanger. So we're gonna leave this engine. We're at a decent stopping point for this one. I think what we'll do now is we have our rattle can paint. I'm probably gonna get some sandpaper, and Harry and I are gonna do a little taping and painting of said engine before it goes into said boat and let it dry for a little while. So these old pipes and whatnot that for some reason weren't with the engine when it got rebuilt, we need to rough up, rattle can real quick, rattle can the remainder of the hoses that have all been clamped down and whatnot, and rattle can the heat exchanger, because it'll be easier to tell for leaks and whatnot in the future when it's actually in the boat and everything's the same color. People normally go with white in boats because you can see leaks easier, but again, this machine shop decided to paint these engines yellow, so we've got more cat yellow paint right here. So I think we'll do a little taping. I found an oil pressure solenoid or sender that's really rusty, and I don't know, does it go back here? I don't know, it might go right there. Need to figure out where that goes on the engine, because at the moment I have no idea, and I haven't seen a prong or hookup for it. So Harry and I are going to do some searching and figure out where that oil pressure sender goes. But anyway, this port motor is ready to go into the boat. I've got all the motor mounts set. We're going to do a little bit of finalizing up there to get those backing plates on. Those are going to be a little tricky, but this guy should be in the air today, fingers crossed, and we will officially be putting our first motor into the 33 Coastal. What's up, everybody? We are back on the 1996 Wellcraft 33 Coastal, and today, well, actually over the next several days, we are putting in the engines officially. The twin 3116 Caterpillar diesels are officially going into the boat, and wow, it has been a long time since I've done something this sketchy. All right, here we go. Good morning. Well, today we are officially planning on putting in the first engine. Harry is quite elegantly painted. Remember that was all brown and gross? Quite elegantly painted. All of said parts that weren't yellow, like that tube back there, my heat exchanger for the transmission, that downpipe tube, not a downpipe, it's just a coolant circulation tube. So the engine looks really good. We've got everything we need. Last thing we're waiting on is El Alternator, which will be easy enough to put on inside the boat. But the engine transmission package is ready to go for the port motor, and all of our engine mounts are secured in. Look at this. Boom. Boom. Standing on them. They're locked. We got our plates drilled out properly, mounted up. That was no easy task. So thank you, Harry, for doing that. This one already has 2 pre-drilled holes. We're gonna find out if they're actually proper, but I'm pretty sure we can line up the new brackets, and if I have to drill new holes, that's okay. Current debacle, however, you'll notice on this prop shaft, the coupler and nut is missing. Well, we do need to tighten our coupler nut before we install said engine and transmission. The issue, however, lies in this right here. This is an 1 3/4 nut. I've got sockets for that, and that fit perfectly. The issue is with the coupler. Look at the clearance that the nut has inside of that. No impact socket will fit around that nut and inside that diameter. So Harry is currently on a mission to find a cheap 1 3/4 socket, and we're gonna have to lathe it down in order to fit inside the coupler properly. So that is currently the mission and holding us up from officially dropping an engine inside of this boat. We are ready on all other fronts for the port side. We just got to figure out this 1 3/4 coupler nut debacle. It's always something. There again, I've said it many times, there's no playbook for this stuff, so we're having to piece it together as we go. Thankfully, we are at a point where we can put the engine in and then start throwing on fuel lines, hoses, ground cables, positive battery wires, water hookups, strainers. That's where that goes back there. Again, transmission goes here, engine goes up here. Once those engines go in, you know, we're gonna lose a lot of space down here. So we're just trying to be cautious of limiting factors, because once that thing is hoisted up in the air, I do not want to do that again. So anyway, we're ready for the motor once that coupler nut is tightened, and then we start buttoning up all these loose hoses and wires and whatnot. So that's where we're at currently with the Wellcraft, and hopefully we'll be back when we have a coupler socket that has been modified to the correct size. So cut to us with the proper socket down in the engine room. Yeah. Okay, I told you we'd be back in the engine room. I think I just ripped my pants. So, one shaft nut, coupler nut is on and engaged. I held the shaft with a big old wrenchy boy, pair of pliers outside, and look at that, that's beautiful. That one's set, we got our key in, and that is ready to receive an engine. Now we got the other one, and let me get you some better light. There we go, there's our magical $30 socket that's been machined. When we took, I mean, what, probably a 1/4 inch off of it? Yeah. Diameter wise. Harry put it in the drill press and then used the even it is chisel to move it out so it would actually fit inside of our coupler. And the impact plus a little bit of the big wrenchy boy, that got the job done. So I'm gonna go back outside the boat, leave you guys here. I'm gonna hold the shaft. As I was saying before my battery so rudely died, you guys are gonna sit here and watch Harry impact that one in. And I'm gonna go hold the shaft outside with a big wrench. So yeah, set that there and just aim it. Oh, are those aluminum?
Yeah. No, I think they're just stainless.
So they're not magnetic.
No.
So set it up on the stringer.
Balance. Power.
Is the tank?
No, the tank's stainless. But
There she goes. That's fine. That was fun. She's
still. There we go. I'm sure the impact won't cause it to fall in any way.
no. Anyway, just so you guys get the idea, that's what we're doing. So, all right, I'm gonna go hold the shaft. Kurt, you're good?
Yep.
2 seconds.
Sure the socket's impact rated. All right, I'm gonna say it's pretty tight.
Nice. You know what that means? It is time.
It is time to put that there.
You can turn the camera off. And now, the moment you guys have all been waiting for, and the reason why you probably watched this video in the first place, we are officially going to put our first Caterpillar 3116 diesel into the Wellcraft 33 Coastal. Port engine's ready to go, couplers are tight, engine mounts for that side are tight. We're waiting on a few more parts for the starboard side before we can get that motor in. But this one is ready. So we're gonna get a strap strung up tight from our mount here, straight across to here. This weighs about 1,400 pounds. And we have a 2-ton hoist, which is rated for 4,000 pounds and a very, very thick, oversized I-beam to equate for the weight. We've already lifted these things up out of the trailer, moved it around the shop. Now it's time to lift it up, and we need it tight, so we have enough clearance to get over the gunnel right there. We may have to sneak through the door ever so slightly. But this operation is probably the one that I've been dreading the most, just because it is a little sketchy, and it's gonna take a lot of force to move this gantry along the boat. But remember, I had to get a gantry this wide to get around the 13.5-foot beam right at where the motors will be coming down. Same reason why we removed the hard top, is so we can get directly over the top and not have to use a jib crane to do this maneuver. So here we go. Time lapse is gonna happen. Hoisting, get it up, get it into the boat position, and then we'll get back to when we're right over the engine mounts. This could get pretty interesting. Stay tuned. Oh my God. That actually went way smoother than I thought. We're not out of the weeds yet though, so I'm gonna speak very shortly. She's hanging, and I do believe with a slight twist, she should lower straight in. How much room do you have on the front?
About 2 to 4 inches.
Okay, that's what we need. Ooh, I-beam, watch yourself. That's what we need. Okay, all we need is this G-rotor pump to clear, which will happen with a little bit of a twist, so. Woo! All right, I never want to lift this heavy again, but we're here. We're gonna have to do it one more time. Let's get this thing down so we can rest around the plates. A little more time-lapse action. All right. Oh, gosh.
Going very...
Time to do some sketchy shit. Tuna.
I'd rather not crush your...
Okay. You not want to crush? Oh, what are you gonna grease?
Nothing.
Here. Okay, let's get this thing off suspension as quick as possible.
Agreed.
All right.
I will guide if you lower, perhaps?
Yep, we want to angle this G-rotor pump into my corner.
Yeah, I think they go like 2 inches forward. Now,
Which we should go.
actually now, just come down and I'll angle it. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
I'm going to come down.
Yeah. Go
Keep
down.
your toes and feet.
Go down on me, daddy.
You all right?
Yeah.
Once that clears, we can go back. That's what we need to do for the coolant and stuff. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we
A little bit more.
started our about to go, so I'm gonna go this one that way.
It's what I got up forward.
All right. Well, keep going down.
We have to remove the starter on the other one. Alright, now we need to go back.
Hold on.
The swinger.
Hold on. No.
Yeah, we just need to push back.
Yep.
You got it?
Yeah.
Take it back a little bit.
Yeah. Go for it.
Well, let's go.
Hold that.
What?
Hold.
Holding. We're almost there.
Hold on. Wait.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Careful. Doing a lot of weight. Okay.
Yes, go down.
You alright?
Keep going. How does it look on your side?
Good.
Okay.
Finding your pads. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm right on top of mine. Sweet. The impact gun's down there.
It
There's
is.
a wrench. We can get to it though. So what's this rack?
Oh,
Oh,
you have
watch
some wood blocks that can put into the back.
Yeah. Watch your prop shaft because that's gonna have to go back a little bit.
I think it's already. Oh no, we'll have to go back a little more.
Yep.
I'll go out of the boat and grab that.
Just slide back a touch. Yeah, spin it.
That hole.
Wow. Oh my gosh. All right, the front two engine mounts are touching. She's half into the boat. This is pretty incredible. My goodness. Oh my goodness. Harry, what are we doing? That actually went way better than I anticipated.
We're
Do you have one more of those? Truck bed?
Truck bed, no.
Wow. Will you cruise around real quick and just check my, oh, did I drop a fitting somewhere along the way? Oh, it's right here. Let's grab another one. It is slightly smaller.
It's better than nothing.
It's not the end of the world. Did you pull the prop shaft out a little bit?
It is. Well,
All right,
really good.
this is what we're dealing with, guys. Great. The other side is exactly the same. And we still have lots of room under the engine, which I love. A lot more room in here than I expected, Harry. So this is good. Our coupler is back out of the way. And we're not going to pinch any bilge hoses from what I can tell. We're probably just going to pull those up prior to... Yeah, I'll go grab those two hoses. Let's get those wood blocks underneath. Give me that one. We could just cut that one in half real quick.
Could do that.
Yeah, whatever. Give me the other one.
I was gonna leave it over there, I think.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you hold this real quick?
Gotcha.
I'm gonna grab these two hoses. Oh, I mean, we're halfway down, right?
Yeah.
We're touching on the front.
Yeah.
Push these drain locker hoses out of the way.
It is an engine in and boat.
Yeah, that's incredible. We're gonna check our stands here in a second. What do you think? Bilge hose stay under engine or go side? I think it's gonna stay under.
I think under.
It's gonna stay under. We're just gonna secure it out of the
path of least resistance.
prop shaft when we're done. That's fine. Okay, put this on the edge for now. I mean, we will utilize the gantry to position these in the coupler and then drill our holes, correct? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah. So the gantry's gonna be here while we get these things set. Look at this one over a touch. Ooh. Good, good. Let's just not think about it that much. Impact. Get the other one in a second, all right. No pinches. Ooh, it is in there. Wow. We have an engine in the boat on mounts. Pretty close to being lined up. How does that make you feel here? How does all of this make you feel?
We're halfway there. That's what I'll say.
There's a lot less space now.
A lot less space.
But more than I actually expected.
A lot less space, but a lot more progress.
Agreed. You can still like get back here. Like I'm gonna have to bend over to get to this wrench you left down here.
That was just more of a test than anything else.
Oh yeah, look, we got all the room. You see that? Boom. Okay. One motor is in. It's definitely not resting on that other wood block, but that's okay. You know what they say, 3 points of contact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm thrilled. Nice job. Nice job.
Yeah.
Well, I say we leave her like this. No reason to go get the other motor.
Agreed.
And just leave it be. Okay. There you go. And again, there's room for a strainer back there. Easy access to our coupler. I like this. Jim, you should be happy. I hope you're happy. I'm happy. Alrighty. Let's leave this be until we're waiting on two transmission motor mounts, and then we can get that set. We're also going to have to localize and adjust our port side mount as needed. It's definitely going to be a long impact socket to get down in there, but that's huge. You know, while we're at it, I'm going to put a little bit of, just a little tension on the gantry. And we're going to go check our boat stands, because that is a lot of weight on one side of the boat now that wasn't there before. But I think, honestly, you know, she's blocked pretty good. Oh yeah, I mean, we got 3 center, all the weight should be in the center of our rotten blocks. Don't mind those. Oh yeah. Oh, money. Money, money. Okay, dude.
Sweet.
Nice work. That gives me some confidence back. For real. Engine and boat. Well, I have some unfortunate news to share, and that is that 1 step forward, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Oh, I found my adapter. I thought I'd lost it. Harry's currently in the boat flipping motor mounts because we need about 6 inches to get the coupler for the transmission onto the coupler for the prop shaft. So these motor mounts, I was a little afraid of this. They sit too high, so we are flipping them upside down. That is the proper orientation, especially with, you know, the 4 inches that the actual isolator provides. So, you know, you can see it did sit pretty proud. I mean, it would have just barely fit under the hatches, but it's clearly too erect for its setup. So we're gonna flip mounts. I've already apologized to Harry a couple times now. And
good. We get the Volvo 240 special episode. It'll all be worth it.
We'll have to create a channel 2.0 for those things. No, we're gonna ramp up Harry's projects on YouTube. Harry has his own YouTube channel called Harry's Projects, and we are going to feature non-boat related / fun, kind of whatever Harry wants to do on his channel. I'm gonna help him out with that as well and help grow that. So go check it out, but hopefully we can get Harry's channel ripping and going here soon as well. But anyway, yeah, just, you know, being candid, this is what you have to do on boat projects like this. Harry's just taking his sweet ass time.
You will do that.
All right, much better. The inverted mounts are definitely the standard protocol here. I'll hop down next to Harry here in a second, but you can just see the engine's already sitting much lower in the engine bay. I'm hopping in, Harry.
Go for it.
Whoop. Whoop. There you go. See, mucho better. We got all the clearance now. It's a big motor for this boat. 6.6 liters, 350 horsepower.
That means we don't have to do the other one?
What a song. Anyway, we're waiting for those mounts, like I said, but there is your inverted engine mount right there. Sorry, it's a little dark, but there you guys can see. Much better for our coupler back there. So, anyway, we'll leave this like this, whoa, for now. Few loose ends, oil pressure sensor has got to secure somewhere on this side by the oil filter, and then we got to get a belt for our new alternator, yada yada yada. So we're getting there. Thank you for all your diligence, Herrick.
All in a day's work.
It's looking really good. Looking really good. Stronger than the original. That's what we're going for here. Better than original. Woo! Don't do that. Bad idea. Lots of shakes. All right. All right, a little update here. We've got engine number 2. We're gonna move it on back. The gantry's out from the boat right now because we pretty much have engine number 1 completely rigged up and in the boat. So wiring harnesses in. God, what else to be placed? We hooked up most things on the wiring harness, and I tell you what, they went right back to where they're supposed to. The other alternator is on, shifter cables are hooked up. We're still waiting on those rear transmission mounts. So that motor is sitting on blocks in the back, but it is resting on its motor mounts in the boat. So we're gonna move this one back out of the entrance of the building here real quick, get it staged and ready. But in the spirit of keeping as much space as possible in the engine bay for now, we're gonna leave this one out until we are absolutely finished with the port motor. So quick jimmy to get this thing back to the back of the shop and behind the boat, and then we'll hop up. I'll give you guys a quick update of what is going on inside. A lot of awesome work has been done by Harry and crew, but mostly kudos to Harry because he's been an absolute trooper and a huge help with all this. So let's push this back real quick. The last little sketchy movement we'll have to do here. Alrighty, lots of goodies have occurred in here. Harry and I have been hard at work up in this area of the boat. I know, I've read the comments, I know, the lighting, we're not gonna be in here much longer, so bear with us, and this will all get done in the future. But anyway, you saw the motor go in, but check this out. We got all the mounts reversed to much of Harry's hard work, and they fit swimmingly. Thank you for the light, Harry.
No problem.
Good to go here, and then even a touch of clearance on the back. Remember, these are newer and much beefier motor mounts, not to mention the back plates. So those are, you know, what do we want to call it? It's an upgrade from what was in here originally, very thick and whatnot. Obviously, prop shaft bolts are tightened up. Harry got the other Raycor filter in here, and even if Harry leaves his light right there,
Yes.
look, you can see light through the hole. Can you see that?
End of the tunnel.
Oh yeah, there it is. All the mud daubers are gone, and I'll actually cut to the video that he sent me this morning.
Here's a little update on the Wellcraft's fuel system. I finally have the fuel rail valves to the point where they are clean enough that I am confident that the filters can take care of any remaining detritus that may be in there. You can see nice and shiny. I used a combination of this very long bolt with the edge taken off the end as a ramrod and some carb cleaner. And that is how much dirt came out of them. Mud daubers, nests, all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, they should be fit for service now.
But so much dirt and nasty stuff that was inside all of these fuel valves. But thankfully, we were able to clean them and reuse them, because having to buy and redo this whole setup for crossovers and supplies and returns, that would have been a bummer. So I'm glad that we can reuse that. Exhausts are what I would call permanently in. We're missing a couple hose clamps here and there, but the mufflers have been screwed down. These are set how they need to be for the starboard engine to go in. On the port side, here is where magic has occurred. Harry did a ton of wire management, so this front wall looks 10 times better than it did before, and it's prepped and ready to receive sound deadening and fireproofing material for this firewall. The owner really wants to make this engine room a lot quieter, because allegedly these Caterpillars really whine when they're up on plane and cruising at, 25, 30 miles an hour. Shifter cables, again, line management has all been taken care of, and we're prepped and ready for the harnesses and wiring on that starboard engine as well. So again, nice work, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
Here we go. Simple enough, but the harness that was in here had a solenoid. I'll show you on that side, but it came around, wrapped around the motor, Here is actually where the engine harness disconnects, but they just left it and had removed all the connections from it. But it goes back. We got a positive and negative wires that hook up to the starter. We got a bunch of grounds that bolt up to our transmission housing right there. If we cross over on the back here, an additional ground shifter cable. We've got some grounds that we're gonna ohm out after we get everything installed with batteries as far as the main bus bar grounds. So we'll get to all those later. Here is that solenoid that mounts the engine, a couple grounds to it, and then our first official Caterpillar connector, which goes to what I believe is our RPM speed sensor off of the flywheel. The throttle connector, which it looks like we need another screw and nut in here. We'll find one of those.
Fell into the abyss.
Oh, well, yeah, that's gonna happen. We've only dropped a couple nuts, by the way, so not much down there. It was pretty clean when we started. There's another, these engines actually, since they're mechanical, they have several CAT sensors for when they sense oil pressure, temperature, speed, whatever it might be. They'll shut off the fuel supply solenoid to the fuel pump, which is that guy right there. So that's like the kill switch for these things. So these have completely been replaced and rebuilt on this motor specifically, but that solenoid starts the motor, shuts it off, and then will kill it if any of those sensors don't like the oil pressure, temperatures, speed, whatever it might be. And then finally, our last CAT connector for temperature. Here's another temperature sensor for our dummy sensor that goes to the dash. And then our positive, negative wires that run down to our alternator, which we're waiting on a pulley for. So that is what this engine has. I mean, our mounts are just sitting on our plates right now. So once we get the aft mounts, then we'll actually be able to sit here, adjust that motor back and forth, fore and aft, to where the coupler, which is back hidden in there, and it's perfectly aligned now since dropping those motor mounts the other way. But that coupler, get that aligned so where it spins over perfectly. Oh yeah.
Oh no, we don't have our tag there.
That tag's missing. Oh, there's a really pretty tag on the other transmission with all the specs and whatnot. I'll show it to you here in a second. But yeah, anyway, maybe I can peek around the other side. I mean, there's still a decent bit of room in here, but there you go. There's the coupler for the transmission and the shaft, nearly perfectly lined up. And, you know, honestly, I think the mounts are gonna sit a little bit higher than where the transmission's is sitting right now. But obviously, when that shaft is connected to the transmission coupler, it should turn over perfectly smooth with no wobbling or anything like that. So no drag or resistance when it's rotating. And that's when you know you have a perfectly aligned transmission and engine with your prop shaft. So on a V-drive, straight shaft boat, any prop style boat like this, that's very important. So, long-winded update, apologies, but that's where we are. And now, you know, maybe a little other nitpicky work here down in the bilge, but I mean, we're ready for the next engine as soon as we get those motor mounts. So, you know, I feel really good. Oh, here's even another thing. Our diesel fill, Harry got those taken care of yesterday. Our big 3-inch thick ribbed fuel hoses that come down and connect right there, all taped in, double clamped. We got a ground cable going to it already, and Harry's even rigged up our fuel sender to the old wiring harness connection. One of the last things we'll do is we got to get brand new fuel lines made for the entire boat. So those 90-degree for supply and return from our valves here and then to our engines are all going to have to be made up. Harry and I are going to have to measure, get the right fittings, because those no longer exist. Here, there's our, I think, return, and then here's our supply off of that Caterpillar pump. But again, those hoses will have to wrap around, come over to our valves. Our valves will then go to our tanks and then back and yada, yada, yada. So, oh, and obviously to our filters. So there's a whole system on how that works, and we'll walk you through it later. But there's our update. One motor's in, we're ready for the other one. I think right now we're gonna finish up by installing the OG strainers housings back to where they're supposed to go. They mount on these plastic plates right by the intakes. So we're gonna do that, like I said, while we still have some space in the engine compartment here. So, man, if you had talked to me and Harry a week ago, this all looked incredibly daunting. And I was really worried about getting this project progressed, but with a little bit of grit, hard work, Harry's help, and us tag teaming this thing, I mean, it's really come a long way. I can't wait to see it cleaned up and back on the water here, hopefully in the near future, but at the very least, test fires, test run everything. You know, once that other motor gets in and we rig everything up, that's when we're gonna be buying batteries, fuel lines, looking through basically what we're missing. You know, we haven't been missing a whole lot. I have done a couple big part orders for like things that have to be replaced. I mean, this is silly stuff down the road, but you know, 2 brand new 4 gallon a minute, 5 gallon a minute water pressure pumps. These are junk, so putting 2 new ones in. All new PEX hosing, it's all brittle. I think we can reuse some of these T fittings and 90 fittings for the PEX, but I mean, all that's got to be redone. Back here, not a whole lot. That's where the generator goes. Harry and I may have to fight some electrical gremlins. It depends what wakes up and what doesn't once we get power to this thing. But there's where your main battery switch is. And then
Absolute war crimes of white paint down here.
Yeah, Harry's pretty upset about the leniency at which white paint was spread around.
Not upset enough to do anything about it, but
yeah,
enough to keep me up at night.
Final comment on engine bay cleanliness. The boat's going to be professionally cleaned. I'm going to highly recommend that and get that done before we even deliver this boat back to the owner. So with all this hard work and, you know, engine work, mechanical work, electrical work, crawling in and out of the bilges, boats get dirty. You know, we do our best to keep things clean. I mean, it's also, you know, a 30-year-old boat. So anyway, a professional cleaning is going to be, you know, kind of the cherry on top after all this hard work has been done. So everything will look really good. Here's that cool, fun little ZF transmission plate. 1.23335 ratio, 4 quart capacity. Let's see, clutch pressure 23, SAE 30 oil. Yeah, this is cool. It's got its serial number, ZF220A. I'm assuming quality approved is that stamped right there. Pretty sweet. And there is a sticker here, Harry, but I think that's just like the old one. I'll have to look in the trailer to see if this plate isn't in there, but I bet it was left at the machine shop for the port engine. Oh well.
Okay, so the next step on the Wellcraft here is to install these rear motor mounts and drill the holes for them. So you can see there's the mounting plates there, the bed plates if you will, and then here's the actual brackets off the transmission. So what I'm going to do, I'll try my best to film this with one hand, everything, is get those mocked up there. So I'm going to stick the studs through there, put the nuts on them. Both sides, over there and over here as well. Sorry about the lighting. And then use the gantry to drop the engine down. Now, my end goal is to have the coupler in there line up perfectly so that there's no play. Now to adjust that, what you can do is this nut goes up and down right here, which adjusts your engine height in the back. There's another set in the front, which we haven't played with yet. And then the slots here adjust for side to side. Now, This mount bracket has been drilled somewhat diagonally by someone. Hold on. Third time's the charm. There we go. So hopefully those end up actually lining up well enough that I can use the slots to make everything work. If not, though, it's not the end of the world. I can always reposition. Instead of cocking it this way as they have it, cock it that way, or it's nice and square, which is what I personally would prefer. Now over here we have our other mount. I'll mount this one in here as well. Again, my apologies for the lighting. I know this is not ideal to watch or to work in, but that's okay. Get that lined up like so. The nut on top. At some point, they didn't come with lock washers. I know there's a lot of debates on whether lock washers actually do anything or not, but I would like to have something on there. Now, I should be able to lower the engine, not pinching anything over there. Doesn't look like I'm pinching anything over there. And with that, you have contact. There's the weight finally on the motor mount and off of the gantry. So now I just need to go, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to film this or not, and make everything line up correctly down in there, and then I'll give an update once that's taken care of. It does look like those holes are going to have to be re-drilled. You can see that that one is just about right if it was cocked, and that one's going to be a little further out. That's fine. And yeah, I will report back in a little bit. Okay, so the next step in this process is going to be to push the shaft inwards to the point where it's going to end up finally sitting once it's hooked up to the transmission. Now that gives me an idea of where the final resting place for the engine will be and where we want to actually settle the motor mounts. Now you can see the propeller shaft here has a taper running to about there. Now I would expect this to want to have the bushing, the cutlass bearing here rather, sitting right about where this dark mark is. Now these are brand new shafts, so they don't actually have any official spots, you know, wear marks or anything. Let me see if I can get this on here. But I would expect it to want to sit right about there or so. So now we should be able to go up into the boat and put eyes on everything and see how far off we are. Alright, so it looks like the engine's going to have to come about 1 inch down and about 1/4 inch over to starboard in order to be properly aligned. And to do that, I'm going to drop those nuts, the lower set right there, down about 1 inch evenly. And then I'm going to go and get my feeler gauge set and try my darndest to make it so that the gap all the way around between the two there is within 1/8,000th of an inch. So it looks like right now I'm going to have to lift up on the forward side of the engine. You can see that this gap right here is smaller than this one. However, that might also help once I drop the back down. That might take care of it, hopefully, in a perfect world. Anyway, I'm going to take care of that. Alright, so I fiddled with the motor mount to a point where I am now happy with the height in the back. However, if you look at the coupler, you can still see that there's a gap at the bottom where no light gets through, where light does get through. So what that means is I have to drop the front in order to even everything out, and then hopefully we should be good. It's not a particularly exhilarating process, so I won't bother filming it all, but just know, an adjustable hammer is the right tool for the job. Alright, so I've been fiddling around with motor mounts, and I'm finally to a point where I am quite confident that there is no gap anywhere around here when the two are just butted up against each other. Now you can see you don't want the prop shaft to be sitting down so that it's resting on your PYI prop shaft seal. And you don't want it to be torqued all the way up. You want it to be somewhere around the middle with no gaps around. And that's a good rule of thumb to live by.
Well, that's enough for this video, guys. That was a lot of intensive footage of us getting this boat ready to receive engines and then officially getting engines into boat. As you can see, the other one's still sitting behind me, but we're well over an hour on this video already. So I'm gonna cut it off. Tune in next time to check out future progress on the Wellcraft 33 Coastal. And at that stage, we will probably have both engines in already and be talking about what the next steps are for this specific project and getting it out of the shop, back on the water, and running and driving. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Boat Restoration by Ben. All right, see you guys.